The Trump team is pressuring Letitia James to back off to dismiss her business fraud case. You know, the one where they said Trump owed $400-something million, just an invented figure. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I hope you're thankful. I'm thankful for all of the wins Trump is getting in all of the lawfare. Almost all of it has gone away now. All of Jack Smith's are gone. The Chutkin one officially dismissed. The Mar-a-Lago documents case, gone. The only one that sticks, it looks like, is the E. Jean Carroll, $80 million, which is still up for appeal. It's possible he could still get that one dismissed. And then, of course, there's this Letitia James one over at the Hill. Let's read the article together. Trump team asks New York Attorney General to dismiss business fraud case. This is over at the Hill. President-elect Trump has asked New York Attorney General Letitia James, Democrat, to drop her multi-million-dollar civil fraud case against him, citing a need to cure partisan divisions following Trump's election victory. Of course, this would not have gone away if Trump lost the election. They would have probably thrown him in jail by now, like he would have been, Merchan would have handed him over. D. John Sauer, an appellate attorney whom Trump tapped for Solicitor General in Tuesday's letter, framed dropping the case as necessary for the health of our republic, invoking former President Washington's farewell address and former President Lincoln's Thanksgiving proclamation during the Civil War. But of course, Democrats, we're going to find out what she's made of. They deep down in their heart despise Trump. Of course, they still want him in prison. Don't get me wrong. Just because they're releasing all these things doesn't mean they wish he was in prison. It just means they no longer have the cultural push or the cultural acceptance to continue this lawfare. It's fallen out of fashion. It was only used to change the election results. It didn't work. So now it's time for them to fold up their games and retract it all before they do ongoing damage, in Letitia James's case, to New York businesses, where, you know, this case is a horror to their reputation. Kevin O'Leary has said as much. Quote, in the aftermath of his historic election victory, President Trump has called for our nation's partisan strife to end and for the contending factions to join forces for the greater good of the country. Unquote, Sauer wrote. This call for unity extends to the legal onslaught against him and his family that permeated the most recent election cycles. Will they concede that ground and unify with Trump? Letitia James is so hateful. She's really probably the most vocal of all the DAs that went after him, full on making those speeches before she ran, saying, I'm going to get Trump. A New York judge earlier this year found Trump and his business liable for fraud and having conspired to alter his net worth for tax and insurance benefits. He ordered the defendants to pay $464 million plus tax, of which Trump primarily bears the brunt. Today, the president-elect Trump organization and top executives, including his sons Don Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, who owe more than $496 million with interest, which has continued to accrue while he appeals. So that was another part of the appeal. It kept having a tax rate applied against it that went up higher and higher. Not tax rate, interest rate. The New York Attorney General's office did not immediately respond. Sauer's letter previews that if Letitia James does not agree to wipe the massive judgment and dismiss all claims, Trump's team may argue that the case unconstitutionally interferes with his duties as president. So at least they have to put that off till he gets out of office. The attorney went on to note how special counsel Jack Smith dropped both of his criminal prosecutions against Trump. So there's a little peer pressure. Even Jack Smith dropped his cases, Letitia, following the White House win. And a judge is similarly weighing whether to dismiss the president-elect's hush money conviction in New York. The fraud case is civil, but Sauer said it should fare no different because it was only because of his politics that they even went after him civilly. Quote, this case warrants the same treatment, Sauer wrote. Sauer is one of Trump's appellate attorneys and successfully argued his presidential immunity appeal before the Supreme Court. So this is the same guy that got Trump off with the Supreme Court, got him immunity. After winning the election, Trump nominated Sauer to serve as the number 4 Justice Department official, putting him in position to decide which cases the federal government appeals and represent the government before the high court. Quote, as counsel for President Trump in this appeal, and now as his nominee for Solicitor General of the United States, I have had the opportunity to experience the partisan division personally, and I strongly believe that it is necessary for the health of our republic for the strife and lawfare to end that the Democrats launched. They did this. Sauer wrote to James, "You now have the singular opportunity to help curb this division," unquote. James, who sued Trump in 2022 and took him to trial last year, said in the speech after Trump's election that her office is prepared to take a second Trump administration to take it on. She did not mention the civil fraud case, but said she intended to continue to stand tall in the face of injustice, revenge, and retribution. She is injustice, revenge, and retribution. Trump has personally attacked James as incompetent. It's hardly an attack. It's a statement of fact. And has suggested she sought to keep him out of the White House, which I don't know how anyone can argue with that. Either way, I believe the pressure's on for her to drop. I believe she will drop. But I'll keep you guys posted. Letitia James getting some heat from the Trump administration and from culture because she overstepped her boundaries, overplayed a weak hand. I'm Doug, in exile.